Okay, so working our way through this limiting reactants problem. Doesn't seem very stable. Okay, right, we started out with masses of each of our reactants. We calculated how much silver we could expect to be produced if we completely used up each of those reactants, right? That gives us the ability to discriminate between this one being a smaller quantity, meaning silver nitrate is the limiting reactant, right? And this is how much silver we could produce. Now, this third part of the problem here, how many grams of zinc nitrate will form, right? We've actually got more information now to do this part of the problem because we already know this 2 grams of zinc, that's excess, which means this 6.6 grams of silver, that would also be more silver than could be produced. But either of these quantities, either 2.50 grams of silver nitrate or 1.59 grams of silver, either one of those will be directly related to how much of the other product of the reaction will form, the zinc nitrate. So we can start with either of those values. They would both relate to the answer we're looking for. So I'm going to start with the 1.59 grams of silver, simply because it's easier to write silver than it is to write silver nitrate. So I know that I'm going to make 1.59 grams of silver, when I use up all the silver nitrate. 1 mole of silver weighs 107.87 grams. That would get me to moles of silver. Looking at my balanced equation, for every 2 moles of silver that are produced, 1 mole of zinc nitrate is going to be produced. So 1 mole of zinc nitrate for every 2 moles of silver. Right? And then the last step would be to go to grams. So this will be the molar mass of zinc nitrate. And I kind of calculated that out ahead of time. 189.41 grams of zinc nitrate in a mole of zinc nitrate. Now, watch your nested subscripts, right? 2 nitrates is 2 nitrogens and 6 oxygens added in with zinc. But again, all that comes from the periodic table. So I don't think we need to show how that's done every single time. Now, we get all the units lined up. This is all lined up for us. 1.59 divided by 107.87 divided by 2 times 189.41. And that gives us, to 3 significant figures, that would be 1.40 grams of zinc nitrate is how much is going to be produced. Okay. Now, the last question, right, and this relates back to the sandwich example I was talking about before, how we could figure out how much bread is left over. How many grams of the excess reactant will be left at the end of the reaction? So we know now that zinc is in excess. What we've got to figure out is how much zinc did we actually use? So again, 2.50 grams of silver nitrate, that relates to how much is going to be produced. 1.59 grams of silver relates to how much is going to be produced. And now also 1.40 grams of zinc nitrate relates to how much of the material was actually reacted. So first thing I'm going to do is calculate how much zinc actually reacted. And I'm going to start with silver again, just because it's a little easier to write it out. I know that we made 1.59 grams of silver, and I can convert that to moles using the molar mass of silver nitrate. Of silver. Right? Now, for my balanced equation, 1 mole of zinc will produce 2 moles of silver. And then since I do want this to be mass, I'll put in the molar mass of zinc in the last step. 1 mole of zinc weighs 65.39 grams. Okay, multiply that out. That'll tell me how much zinc reacted. So that's still 1 step away from how much is left over, but it's the piece that we need to calculate that. And this comes out to be, to 3 significant figures, 0.482 grams of zinc that would have been used up. Okay. Now, to figure out how much zinc is left over, right, we started with 2 grams, we used up 0.482 grams, so I just need to subtract. So 2 grams of zinc, but I used up 0.482 grams of it. That's going to leave me with 1.52 grams of zinc. Now, your quantity of zinc goes 2 places past the decimal, so you're going to have to round your answer to 2 places past the decimal as well, even though the quantity of zinc used goes 3 places past the decimal. So there'd be 1.52 grams of zinc left over at the end of the reaction. All right. Okay, one more page for this chapter, so we'll stop the video there, and we should be able to fit the last one into one more video.